I'm recording the sessions, so anybody that's not here is able to see this as well. Um, so to reiterate, this is similar to what our actual morning process would look like. This is our schedule for the mock days on Wednesday and Thursday. Prior to you going to your spot, so if you are helping out with arrival, we're looking at the east wing as a spot for you to come in, get your temperature checked, and then get uh, anything that you may need, sign in so that we know, one, that you're okay, two, that we have a paper trail, and then three, just in case there's any questions that we need to answer or there's any concerns for that particular day, we could answer that. So um, prior to you going to your spot, if you're helping out with arrival, you'd get your temperature checked, you'd sign in and handle any business before going to your specific area. Um, and we'll look at those areas here in a little bit. Um, from there, you would man that station wherever you're helping out, if you're helping out with arrival. Um, and then that would go from 7:40 to 8 o'clock. At that point, at 8 o'clock, if there's no other help needed, you're free to go at that time, because at that point, any late students would be coming through into Patterson building. They would be coming to the office, and teachers are going to their specific cohorts to pick up their classrooms at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to just go through the different areas and what that might entail. So the Patterson building temperature check for secondary walkers. So if we're looking at this floor plan, so this station would be right here that I have highlighted. This is where that person would be. Student middle school walkers would enter through this entrance. And now this person has the added duty of the infection protocol and the isolation protocol. If a child comes in sick or they have a temperature over 100, we're in charge of making sure, and we will also have those hallway escorts that we'll get to here in a little bit, but we'll have someone to help escort that child to the isolation room. This person would technically be the only person that would bring or have a student sent to the isolation room, because everyone else is getting checked through their car. We do have an isolation room set up in the Addison building as well for the primary walkers that go to the Addison building, get their temperature checked over there, and if they're sick, because we can't send those kids away. We're now in possession of those kids. We're liable and responsible for them. So we're not going to send them back walking home, because then we're liable for that. So unfortunately, if a kid comes in sick, that kid will go straight to the isolation room here in that north-south hallway. And those are the only kids that are coming in. So when we have our numbers set, that person will have a good idea of who exactly should be walking through the door. Our next temperature check for single student families and our primary walkers. So that will happen right here, where students get dropped off. So if this is a single student family, so you only have one kid, that person, this volunteer would be checking that person's temperature. Mr. Wright will be helping out in this area. He's going to be helping out with our morning routine, so he will be able to assist anything going on right here. Any primary school walkers would also get checked here. They just walk down the sidewalk between the convent and the Patterson building. walk along this way, get checked. Again, if their temperature is over 100, they proceed to the isolation room. Again, we're not going to send a middle school or primary kid back walking home, because at that point anything can happen to them. So we have that, and then the last temperature check that we have would be for multiple students uh, in a family. So that would occur right here. So um, that person would be in charge of kind of flagging parents down to park in a specific spot facing south, so that those parents can pull out. We're not allowing those families to whip around or come all the way around and face the other direction, and it'll just create a lot of hoopla in the morning. So we want that temperature check happening right there. Again, how we proceed, I think that really falls, and I think Nelma could fill in on that. But say there's 3 kids, 2 of the kids are temperatures are good, and 1 kid's temperature is over. I think we still would allow those 2 kids that are fine, or would we turn that whole family away?
That's a good question. We know that if a child has a temperature, the child that has the temperature gets sent home, not the other child. If that child is tested for COVID and tested positive, then the entire family gets quarantined. But just because the child has a fever doesn't necessarily mean that we turn the other 2 who do not have a fever away.
Okay, so that answers it right there. So that multiple student family, so if there's 2 kids, 1 temperature is over, 1 temperature is under. The temperature that's over, that kid, unfortunately, we can't allow into the building. And I waited to say this for all 3 positions.
And just as a follow-up, to that, we track down anybody who comes in and has a temperature and we send home. We follow by jotting that down, recording that, so we can follow through daily to make sure the progress that families making in either informing us with the situation of the fever or not. We just have to write that down to track it.
So then those 3 areas, we will have stickers for the kids that have a good temperature. So we just give them a sticker. Keeps things contactless. We're just putting a sticker on their shirt or on their coat. And it prevents us from handing out anything or extravagant or anything like that, or a wristband or anything like that. So a sticker will suffice. If we do have that, for example, the middle school or primary walkers that are sick, having clipboards at those entrances to mark those students that are coming into the building that are sick, that are going to the isolation room, to wait until they can be picked up. We will have traffic assistance. As I had stated in the parent meeting, this person is not a cross guard or a traffic control or anything in that sort of manner. That volunteer would be solely just helping any cars get onto Addison, and making sure that families aren't trying to turn east onto Addison. It's just assistance. It's not. They're not going to stop traffic, so that you're not sitting there with a stop sign or anything like that. You're just waving people onto Addison when it's safe for them to do so. Because a lot of times we do have cars that park right at our exit of our parking lot, and it makes it pretty hard to see. So this way we have somebody assisting our families onto Addison. Our Pattison and our Addison door holders. These two people, so whether they're right here at the
Can I
entrance.
say something?
Mhm.
Going back to the traffic controlling process, it's really important that the volunteers, that we stay connected in terms of what it is that you see, because there's a light right on Laverne. But because of that traffic flow that we are looking at in our parking lot, we don't back up. So while we're saying you're not a traffic controller, we're going to pay close attention, because we may have to really intervene and see. So what we don't want is our parking lot to get backed up, right? Because if it gets backed up, then it kind of interferes with, it impacts Laverne, right? And it impacts Addison, and it can create a bottleneck type of situation. So yes, we don't want you to sit there and control traffic, but we would expect that if something it doesn't seem amiss, that you let us know, because we may have to make adjustments where we may have to get people or stop traffic a little bit and just let everybody that's sitting in the parking lot leave. I mean, we're all adults. We kind of know a good sense of, we don't want to put anybody at risk, obviously. Um, but it's just to really be cognizant. I want to put that out there, that we just need to be cognizant of the fact that we may have to make some adjustments there.
And then that person will also provide a highlighter vest, just so that obviously your
Yes,
safety is top priority as well.
right.
So as I was saying, we have the door holders. Excuse me. So we have the door holders for Addison building and for the Patterson building. I'll switch to that map here in a second. This person would be in charge of providing hand sanitizer to the kids. So you'll have a hand sanitizer bottle. As they walk up, you'll make sure they have their sticker. If they are a walker and they have to go to isolation protocol, we'll make sure that is handled. That person is just in charge of the door and making sure that kids have a sticker before they're let in. And then just making sure that kids are wearing their mask correctly, and just a wellness check. How are you doing today? Are you feeling okay? Are you experiencing any coughing or sneezing, anything like that? Just so if we do have somebody that you consistently see, then we could, again, like Noma had said, we could keep track of those kids that if a kid comes in 3 days in a row saying, I got a headache, I have a headache, I have a headache, okay, we need to start looking at if this kid has other symptoms. And same thing over at the Patterson building. Those middle school students that were dropped off, they would continue along the south end of Patterson, and that would happen at this door right here that I have in blue. So the opposite of the keyed door. Just because staff will end up walking through, some of our staff members will walk through that and then continue on to the other keyed door right here on the left side. And today, these arrows all around the school have been placed. So we have arrows going everywhere. So we have everything in the building lined up. Certain paths have been created for each group of kids. But again, this person just hand sanitizer, make sure the kid has their mask on properly, and a quick wellness check. Hey, how you doing today? Are you feeling okay? Any sneezing, headache, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have supervision for both the gymnasium and Kruger Hall. So again, this is something I brought up in the parent meetings. Our numbers are at the point where they won't be greatly affected by more kids necessarily joining. So we're in a good spot right now where our cohorts can all fit in these bigger areas where we're still under 50 kids. So it's not an over 50 gathering that's putting others at risk. And then this person is just in charge of making sure that the cohorts stay in their areas, in their spots, and just it's just basically supervision. So just making sure that our kids are behaving while they're in those areas from 7:40 to 8 o'clock. And then our last area is pre-K supervision, but I doubt that we'll really need someone there volunteering, just because we should have our pre-K teacher as well as her aides helping her out. So that those areas we won't necessarily need a volunteer there. Again, this is reflecting our stuff for Wednesday and Thursday. As far as dismissal goes, the biggest thing for dismissal volunteers that are just helping out for dismissal is helping our walkers safely get across Patterson. So we are going to ask families that are picking up their kids by walking, because you live a couple houses away. It's silly nonsense to drive a block and waste the gas just to drive a block and wait in your car. So this is where we will need our dismissal volunteers so that teachers can stay with their cohort along this south side of Patterson, the south sidewalk of Patterson. And if students are getting picked up by their parent because they're walking and their parent is waiting along this area, this is where our dismissal volunteers would come into play, where they would assist those kids getting across the street so we don't have kids jetting out into the street trying to get to the other side. There's not really much else to it. Just helping with any sort of assistance across Patterson or to their cars. So Nelma, would you like me to go over Wednesday and Thursday, or should we save that for the end for any volunteers that could actually help out on Wednesday and Thursday?
Yes, let's do that at the end.
Okay.
Let's finish up their task.
So then our next areas are lunch and recess.
Chris, as you're talking.
What's that?
No, I was saying that as some of the questions are coming as you're presenting, I'm providing an answer there.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna go back to our not our campus layout. Let's go to our classroom layouts. Just to get an idea for lunch, and then Nilma could kind of fill in for recess because that isn't going to be the same as usual. Our lunch periods should be somewhat similar, but we will have, as far as times, our times may be slightly different here and there, but for the most part, it should be around the same area, because students are having lunch in their classrooms. This is just to give everyone an idea where the classrooms are this year, or at least for the time being. This was our phase one of where our classrooms are currently at, in regards for social distancing, keeping our classrooms and our teachers safe, and so on and so forth. So outside of, and I'll make little annotations for it, outside of our classrooms, we will have a little desk sitting outside of those classrooms for our volunteers that are helping out with lunch. Students that do not bring a lunch, they get a cold and or hot lunch from the school. Volunteers will bring the lunches to the classrooms via the east corridor. So this corridor, that staging will happen in the east corridor. So if I, sorry, get out of my annotation for a second. Can go back to the first floor. So everyone has an idea. This is the east corridor. That's just our east entrance and our east stairwell. This is where lunches can easily be brought to the Patterson building, and then from there get prepped and brought to the classrooms. This prevents, because volunteers will be wearing gloves, safety, obviously have their masks on, providing contactless lunches for our kids. And then we'll take a quick peek at the third floor so everyone can kind of see where the middle school classrooms are situated. Again, those classrooms will just have a desk sitting outside of their class where a student or teacher can just go outside, grab the lunches, bring them inside, and those students can grab their lunch when the lunches are brought into their classroom. And that's pretty much it for the volunteers. You're helping with prepping and bringing the lunches up to the classrooms, and then from there, we will have garbage cans set up on the second and third floor, so it's not, that volunteer isn't in charge of collecting the garbage or anything like that. You're just prepping the food and making sure that the food gets to the classrooms when it is lunchtime. Then for recess, let me flip to our campus layout. So everyone kind of saw this in the parent meetings. I'll quickly review this, and then I'll give Nilma the floor to kind of speak on where we're at with recess. So myself and Mr. Wright, we went around campus and we measured out all our spaces. So our parking lot space, any sort of spaces that we have around campus, Mr. Wright and I went around and we measured those areas. Measured it to see if it's functional, measured it and see if it's safe for our kids. So in some areas, we just need to put, so like 9 and 10. These are great, nice big spaces for our kids, for our teachers to bring their classes out. But there's a couple window walls that are uncovered. So that's just something that we would have to get a grade or something to cover those window wells up. So these are alternative areas for recess. as well as mask breaks, anything in that sort of realm. That's essentially why we measured these areas, so that we're not trying to confine our kids to one space and force them to just hang out outside, where they at least have a little bit of wiggle room. They could run around, have their masks off, in a safe manner. Um, Nelma, do you want to step in with where we're kind of at with what recess will look like?
Okay. Okay, sure. I was answering some of the questions here. So what we're looking at as it relates to recess, lunch, and hallway monitoring is 2-hour blocks of time. Within those 2 hours, there may be a recess scheduled, or there may be a lunch schedule, and then definitely hallway monitoring schedule. Once you select the block, or the hourly block that you that works for you, and the task, let's say you want to do recess, then whoever is scheduled for that recess block in any of these spaces, this is where you would provide assistance with just ensuring that, let's say recess, for example, ensuring that the recess are not coming together, that there's social distancing, that they're not exerting themselves. If they are in the playground, if they are in the playground, that we wipe big surface areas, that we try to get the kids to engage, but not to, we have to kind of keep them down, and supervise. Let's see, in terms of lunch, with those hour blocks, we're talking about, as Mr. Butt suggested, we would go and get the lunches, wearing getting our hands washed, wearing gloves, bringing them to the classroom, and some cleanup may be needed. We haven't quite, you would not be going into the classrooms, but any cleanup in terms of garbage bags that the kids have to throw in the after lunch, anything within those 2 hours, we would need the assistance with. But again, this is what we're looking at. The arrival procedures and timeframes, and the dismissal procedures and timeframes are going to look differently than the lunch, recess, and hallway. We're looking at 2-hour blocks. And right now, what we have tentatively is from 7:30 to 9:30. That would be a block. Obviously, we don't have recess, lunch, or hallway at 7:30 in the morning. But as soon as the children come in at around 8, we really would like someone in the hallways. And what that is for is, let's say a child needs to go to the bathroom, or a child is sick and needs to be admitted to the office. And pretty much, not that that is always necessary to escort them, but to ensure that classes are not, that children are not mixing, children from different classrooms are not mixing, or classes from different classrooms that are mixing. If you see that a teacher is coming out and is taking his or her class to the bathroom, and they can't see because the bathroom's on the other side, you will let that teacher know there's a class on that side. And again, we're going to make every possible effort to schedule a break, but it's in that way. You know, we're going to have a fire drill one day that'll throw things off, right? And we are looking at these drill procedures, and this is when we're looking at that hallway monitor is going to be the hero at that day, because that's when we're really going to ensure that traffic is controlled, that that we exit the building in orderly fashion, and that we're still staying safe. So So that's where I'm talking about in terms of those 2-hour blocks: 7:30 to 9:30, 9:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 1:30, and 1:30 to 3:30. Um, and again, monitoring, really ensuring that social distancing is happening, monitoring the level of exertion among kids during delivery and cleanup after lunch.
No, I think we lost you.
Uh, uh, and, and things like that. We need a lot anyway, so that's my part.
Noma, can you repeat that last part? I think we lost you there.
I said we need an extra 12 hours a day and an extra day in the week. We will have all of those explained in addition to what Mr. Butts wrote down, the procedures for each, or just kind of like a breakdown of what we just talked about under each and every task expectations.
Yeah. And then just to expand on that hallway escort, so uh, Ms. Oseki kind of was talking about it with those time slots. Uh, that hallway escort, what we're really expecting is you're going to be running around the building a little bit, but it's only for 2 hours. So we figured that that 2 hour span that you're assisting, um, you'll have a walkie-talkie and spray bottle, um, really to go around and you'll be notified if somebody on the third floor needs to go to the restroom. You would be that escort. You'd bring that kid to the bathroom. The kid would use the restroom. You'll take them back to class. And then with that spray bottle, you would go and disinfect whichever stall that they used or the sink that they used. Just spray it down so that disinfectant sits and kills any germs, bacteria on that area. Same thing with water fountain, helping and allowing our kids to utilize the water fountains. Where you would spray is the the hand buttons. So obviously we're not going to spray down the nozzle because water's just coming out of it into the bottle. But we do want to spray down where the kids' hands were, and as soon as the kid's done filling up their water bottle, you could spray down where their hand exactly was because you're standing right next to them, and then just walk them back to class. Um, but this also frees up any issue or possibility with if we do have a kid that's symptomatic and has to be brought to the isolation room, or we need someone to um, not only bring them there, but stay with that kid, um, obviously from a distance, but stay with that kid until parents are contacted and parents can, or someone can pick that kid up that's in the isolation room. I think that's pretty much it with that. But the hallway escort, the two main things that that person would have is a disinfectant spray bottle and a walkie-talkie. Um, and just a quick process of that. If I have a student that needs to go to the restroom, I would call down to the office because we do have those intercoms. From there, Ms. Johnson or Mr. Ibarra would contact the person that's that hallway escort at that time, get in contact with them, say there's a kid in room 303 that needs to use the restroom, and then from there you carry on to room 303. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the 5 areas that we're asking for volunteers. We had others fill out that other section, but didn't really state where they would volunteer or mention that their ability to volunteer, they want to volunteer, but it would have to be at a specific time. So this might be useful with those time slots that if you could only help out from 11:30 to 1:30, that's perfect because we need someone there, whether it's for lunch, recess, or for hallway escort. Is there anything we want to add before going on to Wednesday and Thursday stuff?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So looking at Wednesday and Thursday, so tomorrow, teachers are back in the building, even though they have already been back in the building, but officially we're back in the building tomorrow. Teachers will get this same run through that you're going to get right now of the mock walkthroughs that we are doing on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. How it looks for teachers and volunteers. We're asking teachers and volunteers to arrive at 8:30. Give us some time, and I'm sure we will have some eager parents to go through the walkthrough. So it wouldn't be harmful if we started at 8:35 or 8:37. But we're asking arrive at 8:30 and park on the west side of the parking lot. So if we're looking at a bird's eye view, anywhere where I have staff, that's where I'm asking us to park. If you could walk or you park somewhere else, that's totally fine. As long as we're leaving this east side of the parking lot empty for our arrival. We will have a briefing really quick. And this is just if anybody has any questions. There's still some confusion about their particular area. Nothing too much, nothing big will really happen in this period of time. Just arriving, making sure that nobody has any questions before we break into our areas before families arrive. At 8:40 to 8:50, we're asking families that are willing to participate, that are not volunteering, participate in our mock little walkthrough. Teachers are, like I've said earlier, are helping out with this so that they at least have a good idea of what is going on in case we do need a teacher to step in once in a while. Students, and we may potentially have some walkers, so that might be nice. It would be a nice walkthrough for us if we do have some students that walk. But students arrive or walk and they're dropped off at the school. We'll go through the temperature check and have those kids continue to their designated building and go into and sit in their staging areas until their cohort teacher picks them up at 8:50. Like I said earlier, all the areas have been set up today. So they are set up, ready to go. At 8:50, cohort teachers will break away from their areas. So they teachers will be staged, and then whoever can volunteer for Wednesday and Thursday, we'll get to that here in a second. But teachers will break away from their areas and walk to where their cohort would be staged. So middle school, when middle school students are there on Thursday, they are staged in the gymnasium. Primary students are staged in Kruger Hall, and pre-K is just staged in their classroom. The exit order and primary teachers will just leave in this order. They'll go kindergarten, then third and fourth, first and second. Then the exit order for middle school is 8th, then 5th grade, then 7th grade, then 6th grade. Excuse me. Then our middle school, so on the vice versa for each day. So on Wednesday, middle school students will not be at the school trying the mock walkthrough. So middle school teachers will stay at the arrival entrance or go to their arrival entrance. So say a middle school teacher was helping out, so Miss Scott, she is one of our teachers that is in the Patterson gym supervising with no kids to supervise. At 8:50, she'll just walk over to uh, the arrival area and help assist. So middle school teachers, myself, Miss Scott, Miss Gambino, we and Miss Terrell will be helping us. Miss Terrell we will go to the arrival entrance at the parking lot and we'll assist any late comers for our walkthrough and assist them into getting over to their cohort or over to Patterson where their dismissal group is. And same thing for Thursday. Primary teachers will do the same thing. They will go to the arrival entrance and bring any late arrivals to the front of the school for dismissal. Then from 8:55 to 9:10, that's our time for our parents to come swing back around onto Patterson and pick up their kids. Pre-K students will line up in open spaces, and I'll show you a diagram here in a second for this. And then as their parents come, students are released to their parents as they pull up. We do have volunteer space for Thursday and for Wednesday as well for dismissal. So if that's an area you know that you can help out in and you're available on one of those days, that is a space that's open up as well. So really quick, I'll show what I mean by pre-K students. So much like the arrival process for our pre-K students, dismissal will look the same for at least families picking their kids up, their pre-K kids up. And typically what I've learned from in the past is those kids usually get out a little bit earlier. So it works out quite nicely for any families that have a pre-K and a primary or middle school student. They could swing through, pick up their pre-K student, turn back onto Addison, turn onto Laverne, and then go back through the alley to get back onto Lamont and then onto Patterson. I know it's a lot of zigzagging, but we won't have anything blocking the alley at that time in the afternoon. So it does create a safe route for pre-K families with an older sibling. They could get back to Patterson safely. If there's nothing else to add, Noma, I think we're ready to ask if anybody can help us on Wednesday or Thursday.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my connection's not the greatest for some reason today. So first thing is first, we would love it if you could in the chat. I have been answering some of the questions that I know have that have come up, and we will answer the questions, all of them, after this. If you are able to, if you can jot down your name and the time that you are able to volunteer and what you had in that survey, if you wanted to do lunch, recess, what you had in mind. And if you can just work any of those, just say wherever you need me, just so we can start plugging in people in these slots, and we can hand that over and share that with you. Other than that, I think aside from really giving you a bit more specificity in writing and what these tasks are going to be or the expectations in those areas, that is what we have so far. And any thoughts or suggestions that you may have that you feel can contribute to this plan, we are more than welcome to take them and to listen to them and see if we can fit them in or see if it's something that we've already thought about.
And if I can add, if you can also be specific, if you can also help on these days, if you could also say if you're available. So if you're available Wednesday morning or Thursday morning from 8:30 to 9:30, and you could help us, that would be really great.
So are we ready for questions?
I think so.
Ready for questions?
I think
Ms. Oseki,
Yes, I do.
I'm kind of confused as to what time the kids are supposed to be there on Wednesday and Thursday. Because I thought I saw in one of the flyers that they're supposed to be there at 8:30 to 9:30. Am I incorrect?
so. I'll jump in. So initially we had
Mr. Butts, you want to, yes.
okay. So
Chris,
yeah, you're breaking in and out. I'll jump in. So initially we did have that block of time just so families could plan for that 8:30 to 9:30 slot. So either tonight or tomorrow, we will send out the information specifically stating when we would like families to bring their kids. And as you saw, it's that 8:40 time, that 8:40 to 8:50 drop off for the practice for Wednesday and Thursday. So it was just to kind of, what was sent out prior was just to kind of give people and families an idea of when that function was going to be happening between that time slot.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
it's not going to take a whole hour to do the drill, to come in and to come out. We want this to be useful for the kids, but we also don't want us to do the practice. And if we need to do it again with certain families, we're there to support them, but it's just one run that we're thinking about doing just to give people the idea. Because it's not going to take an hour to really practice that. But like Chris said, it's just to give people that, to plan for that time. So let's go through some of these questions. Chris, you want to go through the questions since my connection is not the greatest?
Yeah, I'm picking up where you left off. Okay, so Rosaria, I can only volunteer from 7:30 to 8:30, as I have to sign to work. Can I still volunteer? Yeah. So where you would potentially be able to help out is volunteering in the arrival area, because the arrival time is happening from 7:40 to 8. So that would be a perfect time to help out. So Maya, how long would it take for someone to show up to take them to the bathroom? It's hard for the little ones. Again, it's I think that's on the teachers to kind of provide wellness checks throughout class and see if kids are getting close or if they know that there's a specific time. Um, um, so as far as how long would it take for that volunteer, I think it really depends on where they are in the building. In some cases like kindergarten, they do have Mrs. Skipka, where she could help out in that sort of process. So kindergarten is already off that slate. She could take that kid to get their water bottle filled or use the restroom or bring them down if they're symptomatic. And this way, we're not utilizing that volunteer to take a pre-K kid that may need to use the restroom or something. Okay, we answered that. Gigi answered that. When could we have a parent meeting to give our feedback? Sumaya, can you be a little bit more specific? What do you mean by?
So basically, it's just
was actually answering that.
Okay.
okay.
And then the Zoom videos, I'm in the process of
Go ahead.
moving them to Drive folders, and then I believe we'll have those available on the school website, as well as the little walkthroughs I videotaped today of the building, so everyone will be able to kind of see not only the parent meetings, this volunteer meeting, as well as the layout of how our school looks with all our markings around the school. Are there any other questions as of right now?
It's probably easier if we have not necessarily set up a meeting to as a feedback session meeting. It sounds to me more like a town hall session. I believe we have continued to encourage parents to get feedback, to ask questions, and we would answer those in the form of the Zoom meetings that we have had or the e-newsletters that we have had. We will continue to ask parents to always email us, email me directly, email the teachers, email the office. And as we get those questions, we would find the answers if we don't have them, first of all, and then answer those. But we have not set up any specific meeting to get parents' feedback. We're here providing information as we get the information. And again, we're asking parents to provide us, we continue to provide. I hope that was clear and I did not break up.
You were pretty much clear. We were able to make it out. And then Gigi, I think, would know this one. If you've already completed the Virtus training, is there a certificate of completion that needs to be printed, or can we look that up on our end?
I already answered it. And yes, if you are Vertus trained already, you've gone through the training process. I just have to look up to make sure your information's up to date, but you should be good to go. If you haven't done any type of Vertus training, please visit vertus.org, and the training can be done online. You don't have to go to a site as in the past.
And I'd assume the answer is yes. If you haven't completed your Vertus training, yes, complete that first before you're able to volunteer.
Correct. It has to be completed before you volunteer.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So, it's the, I missed it. Is the plan for them to come in then on, are we asking them to come in on Wednesday and Thursday morning?
Yes.
Those who can.
So if anybody that can come in, you have a basic idea of what's going to happen for Wednesday and Thursday. And again, this Zoom call will be posted. You have a good idea of what to expect. So if you are able to, again, I'll reiterate this, if you are able to help out on Wednesday or Thursday, I'm asking if you could please be at the school between at least by 8:30. Then we could move you to a specific area. And we ask that you park on the west side of the parking lot, so that we keep the east side of the parking lot open, the Addison side of the parking lot open.
And for now, if you can still write down your name in the chat, the hours that you are able to work, or the time that you're able to work, and the task that you want to sign up for, whether it's arrival, dismissal, lunch, hallway, recess, whatever that is, or anything we need, just let us know in the chat that way, because we're going to transcribe these and then work off of it to plug in people's names into the specific areas. We good?
Yeah.
Gigi, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Sorry, I missed that. What?
Is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Andrea, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think
I'm only asking
everything is pretty much covered.
Okay. I'm only asking because you guys are part of the health and safety team. So maybe we just want to make sure we covered everything.
We're good.
Yes, the answer to that last question, do volunteers need to have background checks? The answer is yes. Right, Gigi? That's part of the CANTS, right?
Yes, and they will go, once you log into vertus.org and start the process, part of it, part of the online process is to do a background check. So that's all completed once you log in and create an account.
The first grade class, I don't have the chart in front of me.
Right now, we have 5 in person and 4 remote.
I think it's 1 that hasn't responded.
We've got a couple.
Okay.
But it's kind of even. It's a split.
Dominic's question, my work hours vary. Is there a way to volunteer from week to week? I think we could say yes to that. I think depending on, because we do have those time slots, and that week to week may fall under that lunch or recess volunteer availability. So we're not looking for you to be specifically at a certain time. We know that you could only make every other Monday. Then we know we could utilize you for lunch or for recess. And even if you are available at those weird times, recess won't just happen in the middle of the day. It may happen earlier or later in the day because of us spacing the cohorts out. So I think that's a yes. I think we could say yes to that.
I have to move and go to my other meeting. I have a 6 o'clock meeting, but I really want to thank all of you for taking the time and for really volunteering and helping us get this done and make this happen. And really, I'm excited. Like I said, at the Zoom meetings, parent meetings, I feel very confident that we can pull this off as long as we're all working together and as long as we do it right, we do the right thing. And we're taking all the time to put these systems in place because it is important, because we're talking about the safety of our children and ourselves. So thank you again. Mr. Butts, he created the Zoom, so he can continue, he can stay on, but I need to step away to get ready for my other meeting. But thank you guys, thank you all so much. And I will be seeing some of you on Wednesday. And I will see you all soon. Thank you, Mr. Butts, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
So to continue with some of those questions, so teachers are having lunch with the kids in that class at the same time. Most likely, yes. We may have that hallway escort go to that classroom so the teacher could go down to the teacher's lounge, make their lunch, come back up. But yes, that the teacher is with their cohort eating their lunch, because that's the only safe place, because they're a part of that cohort, and we don't want teachers eating lunch together because now we're mixing cohorts, especially with masks off. So yes, if I'm the 6th grade teacher, I will have lunch with the 6th graders. We'll all eat at the same time. Thursday. So, Stuart, are you saying that like she comes, so like say her volunteer time was from 7:30 to 9:30, but she could only make 7:30 to 8:30? Are you asking that you would fill in that 8:30 to 9:30 then?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
So your question, you said if my wife cannot complete her volunteer hours, can I finish them for her? So are you saying like, say she has a 2-hour slot, but she could only do that first hour? Are you asking if you could do that second hour?
Well, either that, or if there's a case where she can only do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, can I finish out for Thursday and Friday?
Yeah, I mean, if we're able to work that out so that we know that there's consistency, we know she's there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're there Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I mean, there's no issue with that because we have someone consistently for that day then.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? That's the last question that I have on here. Any other questions?
Good.
As Ms. Oseki said, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Andrea and Ms. Ibar know that this is kind of the birth child of the operations health and safety team. And if there's any questions, likelihood is I'm gonna have the answer for it. And if I don't, it's just a quick consultation with Ms. Osaki. So if that's it, there's no more questions. I ask you, if you do think of a question, please feel free to email me. Don't feel like you're bothering me. Please send me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And with that, see you guys all later. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Bye-bye.